One of the really exciting things about the return of La Liga is that everything is in play. You know, all the way through the league, all of these 110 games are going to matter because everything that can be decided at the end of the season is still to be decided at the end of the season. In terms of how is it going to look, it will depend on what option you choose on TV. La Liga's been very conscious and they've been watching what's happening in Germany about how this looks and about the experience of watching it on television. They have been working on how to get atmosphere into the TV coverage. They're working with a company that takes proprietary work that's done by FIFA, by computer games, to create an atmosphere and also to create CGI fans in the stands. Now you're going to be able to choose that, so you don't have to do that. There has been, over the last couple of days, a suggestion that there may well be a move towards allowing limited numbers of fans in the next couple of weeks. But to start with, at least, it will begin behind closed doors.
Lo que pasa es que es diferente. Yo creo que cuando hay ambiente mola más. Cuando hay, aunque sea ambiente eso de afición contraria, que te digan cosas y eso, al final eso aún te da más adrenalina, te hará querer parar aún más para callarles un poco.
The first game back is the Seville Derby, and it is one of the great games in the Spanish football calendar because of how the fans respond, because of how the city lives it, because of the whole paraphernalia that goes with it. This game, normally the Sevilla bus is waiting outside the team hotel, and so are thousands of fans. There's fireworks everywhere, there's smoke going off, there's chanting. But the game is built on that sense of occasion rather than just purely on the footballing element. We've missed football so much, but by coming back with this game, we might get the biggest sort of the biggest impact of all in terms of what the game's missing. This time you've got Barcelona and Real Madrid only 2 points apart, and in a state in which neither team has entirely convinced this year. Obviously, you're going to say Madrid and Barcelona will get in the Champions League, but there's going to be two places up for grabs: Atletico, Sevilla, Getafe, Real Sociedad. All four of those teams will think they've got genuine chances of getting into the Champions League place, and of course for Atletico it's vital because their budget includes them being in the Champions League. If they don't get in with the impact of the pandemic anyway, it's going to be huge. For Getafe, it would be historic. For Sevilla, all right, it might not be such a big thing to be in the Champions League or in the Europa League. For Real Sociedad, it would be huge as well to get back into the Champions League. So it feels like not just we've got a really close Champions League race with four teams going for two places, but also that we've got four teams in which getting into the Champions League or not would be even more significant than it would in most years. I think that there are a couple of reasons why La Liga is ahead of the Premier League in terms of its return. One of them obviously is the context of the whole thing. You know, the context of numbers of contagions, numbers of deaths, the pandemic itself. Spain's curve is much more sharply downwards. We've had days without any deaths at all. The other part of it is the league itself, and this is without doubt the success of Javier Tebas, the president of the league, who has been bullish from the start. And he was the one that's saying, we must do this. He was the one outlining, for example, the economic impact of not completing the league season and so on. And while these were broad brushstrokes, they said, so we would lose €1 billion if we do not finish this season. Because we're in June, it feels like we're right at the end of the season. And because this is 5 weeks, but it's 11 games. Now, a third of the season is still to be played, so a huge amount can still happen, and in really weird, rarefied circumstances. You know, in terms of the top of the table, the big question is, how does Leo Messi respond? How does Leo Messi playing 11 games in 5 weeks when he's a player that has physically needed to be protected at least a little bit? Will players who have come back from injury, who didn't expect to play again this season, have an impact on the season? You know, Eden Hazard, Luis Suarez, they've just both been given a second chance. Will there be less of, and it's a Spanish cliche, but it fits perfectly, will there be less playing to the gallery? Will football players play differently without their audience? And the whole thing is a big question mark. And those of us like me who like to sit on the fence will always say we don't know how this is going to play out. But this time we have absolutely no idea.